We're at the crazy outside set that we built for the aftermath of the smashed up building. It's kind of great that we're here. In fact, it's a different way to open the show than we originally had planned. We had to make some tough creative decisions to not open with our typical teaser. And when the opportunity came to open up on House, we couldn't say no to it. And it was actually a much better way to open the show. But we actually did have a pretty spectacular opening planned where you saw why all this was caused and why the building was all smashed up, which involved a VFX sequence of the crane operator. It was all in a single shot, and we took you through the collapse of the crane in total first-person participation. You were in the cab as it was falling. And as it turns out, that necessarily, in the end, wasn't the way that we were doing most of the show, but in our original concept of a way to open the show, that's what we were going to do. You're now going to get an exclusive look at what the guys at Encore and our visual effects supervisor, Elan, put together. You'll see all the research we did, all the initial mock-ups and the animatics, and it's pretty fantastic, what would have been.
My name is Elan, and I'm the visual effects supervisor on House. We figured we were going to start the episode with a construction crane crashing into a building, and we did a lot of prep and a lot of homework and took a lot of pictures and actually planned out a whole shot that would take us into the crane and into the building in one long take. And this version of the previs, as we call it, was an objective version that would show us where the camera was, which is this blue object up at the top of the frame, relative to the cab of the crane, the load that the crane was carrying, and then the gyrations that the crane was going through as the operator lost control. And then we see the crane sort of tipping and then twisting and then ultimately falling into the building across the street. Ironically, we found a location in Newark, New Jersey, where we were going to be able to simulate this, not with the crane, but with everything else. This take of the previs is just seeing it from the actual, what we planned to be the camera's POV of what was going on. At this point in the shot, everything is computer generated, with the exception perhaps of the operator. And we end up going from outside to getting inside the cab with the operator. He's having conversations with someone on the ground, his spotter, and then he starts to lose control. And we come around him and we see him start to go down. All of this was eventually going to be shot with the actor on a motion control gimbal. On the day, we were going to be shooting on a stage, and this is the track of the camera going into the cab, and eventually we would all put this into a skyline of Newark, New Jersey. This was going to be actually to look as though he were working on an actual building and crashing into a real building that we were going to photograph in Newark. Anyway, no one's ever going to see that, except for you lucky people out there.